Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ants, Rants podcast. You're here today with me, Ant-Renee, and Ant-Stella,
Hello.
as we cover two interesting pieces of Greek mythology where, no surprise, we play an important role. For our first topic, I'd like to discuss our giant ancient brethren, the Myrmidons. The Myrmidons are a race of ants varying from fox to giant dog sizes. I can't imagine all of us being that big anymore. I don't think we'd all fit in the colony.
We probably wouldn't fit in the colony, but think about the pros as well, Ant-Renee. Like, we could have world rule and bring many resources to the queen. Plus, we would be able to stop any enemies that might threaten our colony. I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible idea.
That's true. Our defenses would be impenetrable.
Yes, we would be able to lift very large items as well. I can't see a downside, to be honest. Maybe you know what? There is one. At that size, we would probably need much larger amounts of food to keep our colony up and going. That would be the only thing I could think of. But with us being so large, we would be able to take down larger enemies as well in order to provide for the colony and the queen. So it might even itself out.
That's a very good point. We could make our queen be the ultimate world ruler, as she should be.
Yes, exactly. Queen of the world instead of just colony. I like the sound of that.
Yes. Speaking of ruling, also, the Myrmidons lived in hills with rich gold deposits. And get this, when digging, they would end up kicking gold out to the surface. I once found a golden rock myself. I thought it was a crumb and bit it. I was sorely disappointed. And my mandibles were sore too.
I'm really sorry that happened to you, Ant-Renee. That would be quite a tragedy in my experience as well. I have nay bitten something that was so forcible to my mandibles, but I would love to have a colony full of gold. I think that would be quite the treasure. And perhaps we could mine it with our mandibles and our pincers in order to bring it to the queen and give her gracious offerings as she deserves. Plus, it would look pretty shiny in our hill, so I would like that too.
We could even make a statue memorializing our queen.
Exactly. I would love a golden statue of the queen. I would worship it every day, honestly.
Add that to the list of to-do list.
Yes.
Bite,
Correct.
lift, work, worship.
Yes. A complete list, I see.
But you know, those humans would try to take those shiny gold rocks for themselves.
How dare they?
Right? The tribes would try to rush in and get the gold before being killed by us, of course. Because that's ours.
Yes, yes.
Meaning they used to just use us for their benefit. But of course, it was at a dangerous risk.
Oh, very, very dangerous. We will bite.
But, I mean, that's extra protein for us. So,
And it goes back to that previous point, Aunt Renee. I just can't get over the fact that we would be so large in order to take down humans. How are they going to compete against us whenever we have a bunch of our brethren and we're all supersized? They can't do anything. They might try to like kick us or something, but we're so strong and we're stronger together. So like how would the humans be able to keep up? I don't think they could. So I think we would just destroy them, bring their nutrients and their proteins back to the colony, and then we would be good to go. And if we had extra, we could just like have a pile behind our colony that would be like ours, and we could just set up like a guard behind there so that way, they're not in danger of losing all of that. But that would be just more resources for us. I think it's a win-win.
exactly. And then the queen can make more brood.
Just better points. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, we were so fast that the only way they could attempt to even steal our stuff was by escaping, get this, on a camel.
Okay, but like, are camels even that fast? I feel like we're faster anyway. So like, if we were really feeling it, and we weren't like too busy, worshiping or working or lifting or anything like that, we could catch up with that. Especially if we're larger. I really feel like that wouldn't even be a competition for us. We could just link up, maybe throw a few of us towards it, and then we would be good. Maybe get on the back of the camel too. We would have camels then. We would be riding camels. Ants on a camel. I think that would be great.
Hmm. I've always thought about what it would be like to be the rider on something. A camel might be it.
Yes, instead of, I mean, I'm sure no bug at the moment would dare to ride on the back of us, but I believe they thought about it, because we are that sort of shape where it seems like you could potentially ride us. But I have always wanted to ride something larger, if you will. And a camel would be the perfect vessel, especially if we were to steal it from those pesky humans who are trying to steal our stuff, especially our shiny things. That's just rude.
Right. Like, that's ours. You know, why are you trying to take it from us? We dug that up.
Yeah, and I get like it's shiny because obviously that's a huge indicator of wealth and of power in our society. But I feel like it's unfair for them to try to take it. So they have to have some repercussions. And if us killing them and then stealing their camels for our use is the repercussion, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree. It, although I will give them credit, they used a little bit of, I guess, intelligence because they would wait until the hottest parts of the day. When they would stay underground, which I don't blame them staying underground during the hottest part of the day because I wouldn't want to be in that kind of heat either.
Yes, yes, for sure. I I I am not one for heat. I do enjoy a little bit of cold temperatures, especially when we're underground. It feels nice and moist and cold. But I guess the humans did, show some intelligence, as much as I hate to admit it, but they're so gross and stinky. I don't like them.
Same. And they use pesticides. Rude.
That's so rude! Oh my gosh. That is like a terrible weapon, and we're just undeserving. They really need to get their act together and apologize to us, or if we ever were to turn supersize again, because it's proven in the past, that we did, um, they would stand no chance, and we would have no reason to hold back because of their previous endeavors to kill us with pesticides and try to steal our gold. It's just rude. Both of those things. No reason to hold back at that point.
Yeah, and the fact that they even tried to take from us just shows how superior we are to them.
Yep, yep, exactly. Just another reason.
And there's another bit. In the trials of Apollo, Apollo went to rescue his friend Meg and came across the queen ant, which, get this is amazing to me. She was 3 times bigger than all the others.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It seems like,
That's amazing.
right, no matter what time or place, the queen is always magnificent. I wish I could have met her grace from then.
Dude, you and me both. I would have loved to see her in such glory. Would have just been a shining moment in history. Maybe someday we can see her at that size in glory again.
We will help lift her to where she should be.
Yes, I would. Think about this. We're all huge, right? Such as we were in mythology and these amazing stories that obviously were more than true. And since she is way larger than us, we all we have like a few of our brethren on each of the queen's mighty legs, and we lift her and just parade her around in glory. Around our colony, of course, we're not going to take her too far away in case of danger, but we get to show all the other little ant villagers that this is who they're working for. This is who is the glorious being in our colony and who they should look up to. And I think that would just be so glorious. I would love to live so long as to get that opportunity.
That would be absolutely amazing. I could imagine it now, seeing her being carried down. Absolutely beautiful. Makes my little feelers twitch.
Yes.
And you know, one last thing I'd like to point out about the Miramakees, which is kind of interesting, they're still relevant and recognized today. They even have,
Why wouldn't they be glorious beings?
right? They actually appeared in a new movie called Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Ah, right. I've heard of this.
I think it's great that, they're getting the recognition.
And that trickles down to recognition of, the ants as they are today. We're still a mighty, powerful insect, and we deserve to be recognized such as that. And I think that it's just showing how powerful we are in a different way. I think that's great. It needs to be in more pop culture. We should take over all of the movie industries.
Yes. And I mean, they're
Ants on the big screen.
exactly. And we've, a lot of times there's been in history, those humans have made some pretty fearful movies about us. But that's a topic for another podcast.
Yes, yes, I would love to discuss that further.
Same. All right, so the next thing I'd want to talk about is Aeacus. So, King Aeacus was on an island called Aegina, which was originally full of humans, but Hera sent a plague to kill all of them because it was named after one of Zeus's lovers. Of course.
Right.
And King Aeacus was the only one still alive after the plague, and he prayed to Zeus for a way to repopulate the island. And of all things, Zeus transformed all the ants there into men, of course, creating the Myrmidons. But I can't help but feel sad. Why would Zeus do that to them?
Okay. Ant-Renee, I really want to know your true feelings on this because I'm just I'm just dumbfounded that they would even that Zeus would think this would be okay. Do you have any other feelings on it, or do you feel the same way?
No, I feel the same way. Like, what did we do? Like, we're essentially just cultivating the land, and you're gonna
Yes.
turn us into humans?
Punishing us for just living where we're supposed to be. I don't understand that. It doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem right, and that's just another reason why humans should pay the ultimate sacrifice. I think it really is just not fair.
It's not. It's not fair at all. Well, at least the Myrmidons were still fierce and hardy due to their awesome ant origins.
Oh yes, yes,
But also, they wore brown armor because of those same origins. And I think it's because once an ant, always an ant.
yes. I would say you're completely correct on that. You can't really take the ant out of someone. You will always have a little bit of, you know, sort of respect for the ant life. Even if you were a lowly human that was unfortunately turned into a human from an ant, you would still have your roots. I do believe this for sure.
It also makes me wonder if that's why nowadays there are humans that are confused.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. A lot of humans I hear don't particularly feel like they belong. It could be because they are either, perhaps they were also turned from ants into humans, or they are the ancestors. These are the ancestors of those humans, and perhaps that's why they feel like they belong somewhere else. They just can't ever get it right because they don't seem to respect us like they should. And so they don't know. How are they going to know if they don't respect us,
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if that's also why a lot of humans end up essentially colonizing into those big, what do they call them? Cities?
Oh yeah, yeah, the fake colonies. Yes.
Yeah, very disorganized colonies, if I do say so myself.
Yes, yes, they're very, they're not as convenient as ours whatsoever. Ours are streamlined, you know.
Exactly.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
think it's
I do
amazing.
think so. I do think that's a good point, though.
Yeah. And I think it's amazing that we basically became the base of a whole civilization, though, as well. I bet that game would be completely different if they were all ants, too, by the way.
Oh yeah, yes, 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 yes. We would. First of all, that game would be much more wonderful because it would be ant based. Obviously, 100% better than it is now. Plus, I do think that the humans could learn a thing or two from us. Like you're saying, their colonies are just a bit disorganized, not really functional. They're too sparse and too big in some areas. They're crowded. Just doesn't make sense. They could look at our colonies and instead of maybe pouring hot liquid down our colonies, like I have seen them do before, which is very unfortunate for our brethren in our fellow colonies, they could instead learned from us and maybe thank us for our ingenuity. I just think it's unfair that, they're just taking us and using us and instead not valuing our culture and our colonies. It's just unfair. They should really take a second to consider what they could do better from looking at our way of life and our colonies. It would work for them.
I definitely agree with you. There's so many things that they could be gathering from us, but instead, they destroy us, stomp on our
Yep.
beautiful, ant hills.
Yep. Squish us. It's rude. It's rude. Some of us, I even hear some of the small humans, the ones that aren't fully developed, they take magnifying glasses and burn our brethren. How incriminating is that? I just feel like there's no worse sin. There's no worse sin. Okay, yes there is. If they were to do anything to the queen, obviously that would be the greatest sin. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to say anymore about that because I can't even fathom it. But terrible to burn our brethren like that. Alive, alive. And they say horror stories about burning humans alive, and yet they're doing the same to us. Doesn't seem fair at all.
It's not fair at all. The thought is just it. That's awful. I don't. I.
It makes my thorax truly quiver. It really does.
Me too. I think. I think I need a breather.
I do too. I do too. Yeah, it's a little too emotional for me at that point. It's a little too much.
Same. So I think I'm going to call this. This has been Ants Rants podcast. You've all been elegant as always, and thank you for listening. Hopefully, you've picked up a lot of things, and hopefully, there's no scary humans burning you.
Watch out for those, especially the small ones. They don't know. They don't know enough.